Let me write a quick tweet and we'll be ready to start. Boom. Alright. Who do we have here today? Fred of the Cat, John Olson, Stream Elements Bot, and Surly Dev. Wow, that's Stream Elements Bot. You are such a fan. You're always here. Let's see. Sound working, hopefully. Go check out my stream myself. I never trust the sound. Alright, good, we get sound. Alright, so as you can see here, I have an empty GitHub repo for Ardalis result. The goal of today is to just build this thing out with some tests. The idea is to have something that can be mapped at the end of the day from a service call to an API result, so that you can basically call a service and have some code that doesn't just return the object, but might also do validation and return a list of validation errors or an actual not found result or similar things like that. And so we don't want to depend on any kind of web stuff inside of a service or domain service and application service, because that would couple us to a web front end, and we might want to call this thing from a worker role or a console app or a service, like a Windows service. And so we want to have this abstraction that we can use to build this result. And then it would be nice if we had another package, perhaps, that would let us map that to a .NET Core Web API result. And we could probably backport it to do a Web API 2 full framework.NET result as well. So if we're smart, we'll build this thing as a net standard library and go from there. So I think I need to start with a new solution or project. Let's do a new project and see if we can put it in the right place. So we want a class library, .NET standard, sounds great. And I'm going to just call this Ardalis result. We want it to be in a new solution. Yep, sure. Yeah, that sounds fine, and that is not at all where I want it. So let's go to our GitHub result location, and let's create a new folder called source and select it, and we'll see if this is totally not going to do the right thing. We'll start with that. It still won't do the right thing, but I'll move it around. So let's create that. Alright, so that's a good start. Let's close that and fix the solution structure. So I told it I wanted to put the solution file in this spot, but I totally don't. I really want that to be in the root. So let's just edit that. And I just need to tell it that the project is in source/ardalis.result/. Right, yes. Okay. Save that. I'm doing that on the other monitor. You can't see it, but if I did it right, we'll be able to open this now. I should probably make a clean architecture, like NuGet package solution template, because this is always a pain whenever I create a new one of these. So I can probably close that. Shutting down extra windows I don't need. Okay, so this looks good. Let's add a solution folder for source. And we'll move this into there. And we'll create another solution folder for tests, because you know we're going to have those. Alright, and let's just add a test project here. XUnit, where are you? XUnit test project. Yep. And this will be result.unit test. May as well throw Ardalis on the front of that. And where should it go? Well, it should go in, nope, in the tests folder. Right there. Well, that looks good. Create that. Got a few more people here. Welcome. Thanks for joining. We are going to try and build up a result type that we can use as a return from application services or domain services. And to that end, we're going to want a demo sample app at some point. Hey, Janice Q7. I'm not sure if I want to have that sooner rather than later, but let's see. Result. I'm going to write my first test. I'm going to try and do this with TDD. I kind of have an idea of what I want. Basically, I want a return type that can include the value of the thing, as well as the status, and possibly a list of errors. So result includes strongly typed value. Alright. So I can just new one of these up to test this. So I can say var result equals new result and pass it in test string. Alright. And then I can say assert.equal test string, which I'm going to refactor at some point, is the same as result.value. We'll say that's what we want. Alright, so we don't really have any of that yet, so the first thing we need to do is make this work to compile it. So first I need to add a dependency. Where's that at? Project dependency. I want to add a reference. That's what I want right there. To Ardalis result. Okay, and then up here I need that result type. We'll make that. And we'll say t value. And we'll just do that. And that's probably good enough to make my test pass even, right? Alright, while we're at it, let's rename some files. Sure. Okay. And this is result. Let's name this result constructor. Includes strongly typed value. Initializes. That sounds better. Result is a namespace. Ooh, that's not going to be good. I may need to change that namespace because that's going to be annoying. What should we name the namespace if we're going to name the thing result? Is it result abstraction or result type dot result? Abstract result? It's not really abstract. It's a concrete thing. Well, for now, let's just fully qualify it and we'll rename it later, so we don't get slowed down by that. Alright, there's that. Requires a type argument. You really ought to be able to figure out the type by the string I just gave you. But we'll do that. Okay, now all of a sudden you don't need the namespace. Okay. Let's see if this first test passes. and wait for it. It's green. Yay. All right. I still want to rename this test. And then I want to get to PowerShell and c dot dot. Got some stuff here. And then we got to type. Oh no, I don't. Cool. I don't have to set the upstream. Nice. Alright, so that should put us to this being updated. Alright, and while we're at it, let's take that and throw it in the chat so y'all have it and you can star it and fork it and share it and all that good stuff if you wish. Okay. You know, the test goes red, so you can. That's a good point. We should totally do that. What would be a valid way to do that? Let me just do that. Run the test. It should fail now for sure. Otherwise, who knows? Maybe I'm doing something stupid. So yeah, we get a red X. That means I think my test is actually working. So thank you, Ant MDVS. Good call. All right. So now, what else could I test with this? I could pass in other things. I could certainly add some validation to this. Like there should probably be a guard clause or something on here to make sure I don't pass it in null. But I don't have that yet. Let's see. Initialize a strongly typed string value. Let's change that to be. And let's make it also work with a strongly typed int value. And we'll just say this is let's start with string expected string equals test string. Get rid of this duplication. So that goes there and there. Right? And then this int value, it's going to be the same idea. And then we'll take this and make it an int and make this be expected int, and just to do red-green refactor, we'll say we expect 0, and now let's run our tests again, wherever that is, right there. And how's my green screen and overlay of the code and all that working out? Is that alright? I paused my, I think I should have muted it. That looks alright, right? I'm not covering up the code at all, even if I raise my hand. Nope. Yeah, we're good. Oh, I can cover the window a little bit. Alright. No, that's okay. Everything looks a little bit squished horizontally, but not terrible. Alright. Alright, so this one failed, as expected. We'll put expected int back in there and run it. That should be good. And we want it to work with some object as well, so strongly typed object value, and I guess this is enough. I can just new that up. It's going to be test object, and this will be expected object equals new test object. This could really be private even, and that goes there to there to there. Actually, let's make it another. And doesn't like that. Oh, right, test object. See if this gets red. Can I convert from int? Oh, That should be a var. Now we're happy. Alright, run the test. Red. Okay, that's good. And run it again. Alright, so that's good. So now I do think we want to say that if it's null, should that be allowed? Is it legal to return a null from a result? It probably is. So maybe there's no reason for me to check it for null. If it's null, it's null. So if that's a supported case, we should write a test for it. So let's do that. Initializes value to null given null constructor argument. Alright, don't need that. We'll just say it's result of something. Null. Expected. Well, let's just do assert dot null result dot value. We'll say that's allowed for now. I may change my mind on that. That works. And let's verify it fails. If I pass it something, of course it will. Good. Alright, so let's run all the tests. Everything's green. Let's go check in. Alright, now I don't want to depend on too many other packages if I can avoid it for this. So some of the stuff we're going to do might work well with like Fluent validation, but I don't want to dictate that you have to use Fluent validation. Yeah, that's just... Oh, I don't have Windows Terminal. No, I haven't installed Windows Terminal. Should I do that? Is that good to go at this point? Last I was looking at it, it was beta. Janice Q, what do you say? Is Windows Terminal ready for production usage? It says it's preview in the store as of June. May 3rd, 5 months ago, blah blah blah. Cascadia. Yeah. No, I'm happy with PowerShell for now. I'm not going to get sucked into that right this second. But you guys can tell me how much you love Windows Terminal and convince me. Maybe I'll switch to it before the next stream. Or I could do a stream just playing with it since I haven't used it. Alright, let's pin this. And are we done with constructor? I think we might be. So the next thing I want to do is be able to return an error of some sort from it. So how would I do that? That'd be another constructor, wouldn't it? So instead of giving it an object for the value, I would maybe construct it and pass it in the status code and possibly a list of options. So if we're going to do, let's do status code first. So let's just do this. We're going to start with a Boolean and then we'll switch to something more interesting. So initializes status to initializes success status to true given value. We'll say that. So if our result equals new whatever, assert dot true result dot successful. Let's say control dot generate property result dot successful, and we go over here. Okay, that looks fine. Let's run this test, watch it fail. It fails. Come back over here. We don't need a setter on this. We can say it's just always true. It's always successful. Save that. Back here. Run my test again. Good. Now, let's make it work for a variety of things. It's going to treat all these as objects, I think, so I'm not sure. Is this going to work if I do this? Those should all result in the same thing. They're not going to be strongly typed, though, with the right parameter, but that's okay. I think that's still valid. I'm not sure that's testing the different things quite as well as I would like, but we'll go with it. Alright. Now, one thing I don't like about these tests so far is the number of places where I'm calling new result. But since almost all of them are unique with different things being passed to them, I don't know that I can fix it. If you see yourself newing up some type that you're testing over and over and over again in every test, you usually want to pull that out and new it up in some centralized place, either in the constructor if it's XUnit, or a setup method if it's NUnit, or a helper method if you don't have a better way. For now, I think this is okay. Alright. Now, I really would like a way to initialize that thing to not be successful. So how would I do that? Initializes success status to false, given unsuccessful factory call. Maybe we'll do it that way. So result equals result dot unsuccessful. Is that good enough? And then we just say assert dot false result dot successful, like that. And then this becomes a generate. You're not gonna let me generate that, are you? Alright, let's go over here. It's probably got to be a method. Yeah, that's going to have to be... I could make it a static property, but that's not what I want. So over here, we're going to create a new factory method, public static unsuccessful, like that. Return new result, and we can have at least a private result constructor that I can call like that. Something like that. So why is that not working? Because that needs a type. Alright, how's that look? Is that going to get us passing test? I named it right. Public static unsuccessful. Why don't you want to work? Result dot. Requires a type argument. Alright, fine. There we go. There's got to be a way I can make it infer that. Not in this scenario, but in these other scenarios where I'm actually passing in the type. Alright, run the tests, and it's all good. Okay, so now I can set that status to unsuccessful. That's good. Thing is, I probably want to also pass it in some additional context. And successful or unsuccessful is not very good. Let's go real quick and see what the different status codes are for controllers. So let's do this here, and we'll bring it over here for you to see. So controller base has a bunch of helper methods for things like accepted, bad request, redirect. Some of these aren't going to make sense, like redirect probably doesn't make sense. Unauthorized, that might make sense as a status. You can just pass a status code. Somewhere there's an OK. I think OK is a good one for us to think about. There's OK, and there's not found. And instead of null, probably no content might make more sense than null. So long story short, I think I'm going to want an enum of those types that is an abstraction that I control. And I can return a status that is of a certain enum type. So my result status is something I'm going to want to have instead of success and unsuccess. So a status of OK will replace successful, I think. Alright, so where am I at on commits? Got some other stuff going on there, so let's check that in. Adding success property. Put that in there. And then let's switch that around. So now we're going to refactor. We're going to say initializes status to OK given a value. Alright. So now we can say assert.equal result status.ok result.status. Alright, so let's go over here and let's create a new result status type. We'll make it an enum for now. I'm not a big fan of enums, but we'll go with that for now. And it's got an OK. And this is going to be result status status. We won't initialize it. We won't default it to anything. And this will be status status. And finally, result status status. And we'll just have this default to OK. Like that. Alright, now we haven't gotten to this unsuccessful thing yet, but we should. Let's have one called, what? Error? Let's call it error for now. Problem is there's not really a mapping to error, but how about invalid? Invalid's good. Well, invalid's not really a thing either. Invalid's going to map to a bad request. Bad request doesn't really make sense here, so let's go with invalid. No, we'll do that one later, because that one I want to have a list of errors. Alright, so we'll call it error, and this one will be result status.error. Right? That sounds reasonable. See ya, ant MDVS. Alright, so this thing here, that one should probably pass. This one doesn't compile yet. Result.status, this is going to be same as that. Yeah, so let's run this. I expect that one to fail, I expect that one to pass. It does. Perfect. Yo, Ardalis, you taking any questions that aren't related to what you're working on right now? Yeah, sure, why not? Dev Invisible, go for it. I don't have a deadline for this thing. I'm just playing around. So yeah, this is also an Ask Me Anything, like usual. Alright, so let's fix this. So that's error. Like that. And let's run the tests. Q large wall of text from Dev Invisible. I have a web project encapsulating and grabbing some data from a third-party source. I use an automated tool to create the serializers based on the third-party JSON data. Okay. Now I'm working on a separate web app that consumes my API and data it provides. It is not in the most ideal form. Both the structure and the TMI, too much information. I'm wondering whether I should be manipulating the data at the web API or in my web API service class in my web app. Currently, my web is the only app interacting with the web API, but I'm personally semi-interested in seeing whether third-party data changes despite me not currently using it. I feel like this is a very common design choice, but I also feel like I'm hitting decision paralysis at the moment. Here or there. I'm trying to wrap my head around what you're asking. So you want to know if, based on third-party JSON data, and you want to see whether or not the third-party JSON data changes, despite the fact that you're not using it. The whole thing you're doing is grabbing data from this third-party source. So what are you not using? You're not using the data that your whole app is wrapping and serializing and getting? That doesn't make sense. I'm sure I'm misreading you. So, looking at your second thing, your web API is grabbing a lot of data, right? And it needs some of it, but not all of it, right? Only cares about a little, yep. So this is what the adapter pattern is probably for. You can filter it. You're doing some kind of ETL, extract, transform, load process. That's typical for reporting and data warehouse type apps. So you pull in a big chunk of data, you manipulate it and modify it in some way to make it usable for how you need it, and then you expose it or load it into another data store to make it easier for your clients to consume. So your question is, where do I do that work? And I would do the simplest thing that works for your needs right now. So if it's easiest for you to do it in your web API, do it there. If it's easier for you to do it in your my app service class, my API service class, then do it there. The thing that would push me to put it in the class instead of the API is that I want to keep my controllers usually as small as possible because they're hard to test and they're coupled to the web. So I would just do it. But if you have a choice between two places of doing it, the controller or a service, I would do it in a service if you can, because that'll be easier to test, easier to reuse. It won't be coupled to the API. You could run it with a console app if you needed to, and then that just makes it more flexible. Does that help? All right, so let's come back over here and let's look at this. We can put this into its own type, its own class, its own file. I'll get the word right. If it's unsuccessful, I might want to also include the error message if I'm not throwing an exception. So let's see. Result constructor unsuccessful. I could pass nothing, or I could pass the actual thing I want, which would be the error message. So initializes success. Let's see, this is going to be initializes status to error given unsuccessful factory call. Alright, result dot. Let's rename that though. I think that should be an error factory call. There's no reason for it to be unsuccessful at this point. Error. And I'm going to want that same thing here. Status to error initializes a status to error and sets error message. Okay, so let's go back over here and we're going to say this is actually error, and we'll rename it that way. And that's that and that's that. Okay, and then this one I want to give it a message. Something bad happened. And that'll be string error message equal. There's a refactoring that'll do this, pull this thing out and set it to a local, but I never can remember what it is, so I always do it manually. Like that, and we'll see error message equals result dot errors dot first. And I don't have errors yet, so let's go create that. Public list of string errors equals new list of string. And really that could just be an enumerable, because I don't want people messing with it. But I should be able to pass in, is there a way to do it in one? I should be able to do that. Enumerable, what is it? Params string errors. Error messages. Does that work? Right? And then this, I could have a private set, or I could have another constructor. Let's just make it private set. There. And then this becomes errors equal error messages. Like that. Now we'll see if that works. I think it's similar to what you talk about in the eShop and web design. Specifically, that app has a catalog view model service, which creates a catalog index view model based on data graph from their repo. Yes. And that thing lives in the web project because it's dealing with a view model. Alright, so over here, let's pull in link, and let's see if that works. And that passes. And if we make this say something else, it should fail. Just to make sure we see it fail. Boom. Okay. Alright. So now we have support for error messages. Cool. I think we should also support an invalid case. So initialize a status to, yeah, so let's support invalid, because it's different than error, I think. Initialize a status to invalid and sets error messages given invalid factory call. Alright, so let's make a list of validation errors. Okay, so we're going to say result invalid validation errors. Result should be invalid, which is not a thing yet. And we can say assert equal that. And we'll put in that. And we'll say that's the last message. Alright, so now we just need a result status of invalid. It should let us build. Nope, I need a new static method for invalid. And this will still just take error messages, but let's call these validation errors. Different intent. And this is going to have result status of invalid. Alright. Cannot convert from something to something. List a string. What is the issue? Cannot convert from that to that. Well, let's try this. How about now? Alright then. Let's try running our code then. Everything is green. Yep. Yep. Cool. Alright, so we're up to 10 tests. They're all unit tests. They all run fast, and we're starting to get somewhere with this code. Alright. So this might actually be faster than I was thinking it would be. I might even get to publish it to NuGet today. Alright, so far those are all just constructor things. I could probably break this out and make these factory calls be different test things, but this isn't so long that it's awful. Let's go ahead and do another commit. Adding invalid status. Okay. Alright. Now let's think about what's left, right? So not found would be another one. And I think that's an easy one. That's just going to be set the status to not found if we say it's not found. So initialize the status to not found, given not found factory call. And so var result equals whatever dot not found. Result is not found. Let's come up here and create one of those. And then this thing just needs a not found. And so far we're doing them in alphabetical order. Isn't that nice? Except for OK. But EIN. I guess OK would have to go at the end. I'm not moving that though. I think OK should be 0. Okay. And let's run it. This would actually be a good time to use live unit testing. Let's turn that on. Live unit testing, start. Click start to discover and run tests. There is no start to click. Yeah, that was great. Okay. I guess I'll put that there. You take up way too much space. As long as you're green, that should be good. Okay. So if I make this okay, then boom, it fails. And we come over here, and these things are all failing. Nice. And then we'll make this back to not found. And I don't even have to save it, and it instantly checks it. So that's nice. Alright, so let's do another commit for this trivial little bit here. Alright, so what's left in terms of response types that I care about? So accepted, I don't really ever use that. I think bad request is going to be the one that it has a model state dictionary that's going to map to our invalid call. Challenge, conflict, content. I don't think there's a big difference between content and OK. created. It could also just be an OK. File is very specific. I don't think we need that for a generic result type. God, I never realized there were 30 different file overloads in their controller. Alright, let's get all that out of there. Forbid. Should I do that one? Maybe. Forbid and not authorized. Both could be useful, but usually you're going to do your authentication before you get into that service call. But it could be that you need to know what exactly it is they're trying to do inside the service before you check to see if they have access to it. No content. Would I just return? Why would I return a no content when I could just return an OK? Although, is it possible for me to return an OK with no value? Right now, I don't think I support that. So I support this OK. I don't support this OK. But I said it was OK to pass it a null. So maybe instead of null, I would do a no content. How would that be any different, though? I think null is fine. So I'm going to leave that one alone. I might do the authentication ones. I don't think I need any of the redirects. Those are very wide specific. Alright, so I might do forbid and I might do unauthorized. Validation problem. That's interesting. I've never used that one. I always just return a bad request. But this seems almost the same. Produces a 400 bad request with the validation errors. So what's the difference between this and... Why would I use this instead of bad requests with model state errors? It seems like a different... like here's model state dictionary right there. This seems like a duplicate. I'm not sure why that exists. I'm sure there's a good reason why the ASP.NET team put it in there. It's probably a different standard or something. Alright, so let's go ahead and add unauthorized and forbidden. What's the difference between those? Unauthorized is 401 unauthorized. But forbid is also going to be a 401 unauthorized, isn't it? 403 forbidden. Okay. Alright. Forbid with a string. I'm really not clear at the moment on what the difference is. I know what unauthenticated would be, which I think is what this is meaning to represent. We don't know who you are. But that would be authentication, not authorization. Let's just support forbidden for now. That way we have something to map to that. So we'll just bring one more of these over. Initialize status to forbidden. Given forbidden factory call. And this is just going to be forbidden result. Result status. Let's do forbidden. I haven't shipped any code yet, so I can screw up my enum just fine. That's good. And then this just needs to be forbidden. Alright. And my tests already pass, because I already got green checks. All I have to do is save. Right? This one hasn't really run, but it has. So that's cool. I think that's enough. So where would my sample app go? I think I could create that in another folder. I think that makes sense. Let's make another solution folder for sample. Add new solution folder, sample, and we're going to add a new ASP.NET Core app. ASP.NET Core Web Application in C#. And we'll call this Ardalis.result.sampleweb. And we'll put it in a sample folder. Like that. And we'll make it a web application, make it an API application. I think that's what we want. We don't really need Docker. Let's create. Alright, so now we're going to show how we might use this thing to do stuff. And you're giving me a bunch of junk I probably don't need, but maybe I'll use it. So weather forecast controller wants to call into here. And when we say get, it just goes and uses summaries to get that. What's this weather forecast CS do? Oh, it gets created from there. Okay. Alright, so let's modify this a little bit. Let's see. The sample could certainly have fluent validation. That would be allowed. And I don't think weather forecast is really what I want. No, let's go with that. Let's keep weather forecast. But let's say we want to get with some model. We'll call this request model. And this will be a forecast request model. And so we'll come over here and we'll add, actually, controller. Let's just call this weather. That'll be my feature folder. Alright, it's got that. Weather forecast. That's my entity. Let's name this something that's not going to conflict with that name. Call that feature. We'll put the forecast in there and give it weather forecast feature. Okay, so in here I want to create this model type. So we're going to generate, what's it saying? Generate class in new file, forecast request model. Sounds good. Okay, forecast request model, I think you should have to specify, let's say a zip code. So public string postal code. But that's going to be required. And we'll do that. Right? And then we can come into our controller, which is hopefully using API controller. It is. So it's going to do a check on this for me automatically. This goes in that same namespace. Like that. Those can go away. Why is this not async? Why is it? Well, this is awful. Why are we just sending in a number? We can't even return a result from that. What is up with using this as a sample with Microsoft? That's just crazy. So basically never do this. You always want to have this be an action result of whatever, which will be that thing of whatever it was we were just doing. Action result of enumerable of for weather forecast. Right. There we go. And I could make it async, but that doesn't really buy me anything, so I'll leave that alone. Alright, now I would like for this to be encapsulated in some other service, I think, right? So we're going to say here that we have public class weather service, and it has a getForecast method, public IEnumerable weather forecast, getForecast, given should I take the whole model? It's going to look an awful lot like the action method, but I think I need the whole model if I'm going to do what I need to do. So forecast request model like that, and then we're literally just going to take this code here and stick it in here, right? And this also doesn't need to be there. So now it can go in the weather service like that, and then this can become inject a weather service. Like that, and this becomes return OK weather service dot get forecast of model. Okay, now I'm going to want to write some functional tests for this probably eventually, but for now I should just be able to build it. And it all builds, so it must work. We could write unit tests for get forecast if we want. We aren't yet doing anything with my result type, so that's the part I'm trying to get to, is how to use a result type to translate from this. So let's move this out of there, and in fact let's move it to another method, or sorry, another library, right? Because I want to have a library that doesn't depend on web to do this work. So let's add a new project. Ardalis.sample.core. We'll say it's a class library, which is that one, and then done that. This is still part of the sample. Great. Alright, we're going to take this weather service, we're going to cut it and paste it. Get rid of this one. And this is just going to be Ardalis.sample.core. Alright. And weather forecast is going to have to go in there too. So let's go and add a new folder called model. Take weather forecast out of there and put it in there. Give it Ardalis dot sample.core.model like that. Right? Okay, so now this thing needs a reference to core. And the point of all this hopefully will be clear in a moment, because we're going to make it so that we can have core use a result type for weather service, which will return, and everything will be happy. Alright, so there's my model. Let's add, what do I want to do for that? I guess I can add some DTOs. We'll say commands. Is that a command? I guess it's more of a query. Let's call it DTOs. We're going to take the forecast request model and put that in here. We'll even call it a forecast request DTO, I guess. Alright, that's all happy. That's not happy. Why are you red? What did it just do? Created a required attribute. It's not what I wanted. I was too quick on the control dot. Install package Alright. Now we have a DTO that we can use for that, and it's in Ardalis sample core DTOs. There we go. Alright, that needs to be there, and needs to be there. With a namespace. Now build. Still no good. You also don't know about that, because I renamed it with a namespace. Alright, now I just need to go into startup and add that service, or else this is never going to work. I guess it could be transient. Okay. So, all of that to say that I should be able to go into my controller here, and depending on the model, I should be able to get different results. So I could have, for instance, a dependency on fluent validation that would do checks beyond whether or not this thing was required. So let's add some functional tests to that. Alright, so let's do a check-in because that's a lot of code so far. So get status, a bunch of stuff. It doesn't really look like that much. Get add, get commit -m, building sample web API app, get push. Alright, now the tests for this are part of the sample, so we're going to add them to the sample folder. So we're going to say add, new project, xunit test project, next, Ardalis, result, sample web, functional test. My head is mostly off screen, no way. Thanks, CodeMonka Dave. I will look at that in a second. Let's put that in sample. Select. Oh noes, what is going on with my head? Let's see. There's Twitch. Steve's head is fine. It must be you. Okay, Surly. Oh, you know what? My chat is not wide enough. It doesn't even show your full names. That's annoying. I should make the chat wider. Can you see the banner at the bottom? Here is my head. Here's the edge of the screen. That's my camera space. Looks good to me. You can see my Engineer Castle t-shirt. Alright. I think it's CodeMonka Dev. It's just my TV. Alright. I'm on TV. Awesome. I'm a star. Alright, we're going to create some functional tests. I'm going to steal the code for this from my clean architecture template. So we're in this other window I'm Googling for clean architecture. And of course, this one pops up near the top. And you will find in here, there are some functional tests that look kind of like this. And they have this custom web application factory thingy. I'm not even sure I need all that because that's got a bunch of stuff for seeding the database, which we're not going to use. But I do at least need a custom web application factory. Or actually, I need a web application factory. So maybe I don't even need the custom one. Let's start with just a test. So here's what my test is going to look like. It just needs a client and then some code to call a test. Now the other thing that's going to become a problem is this random number generator inside of my service. So I'm going to get rid of that to make my tests easier. But for now, let's put this here. And this is an I-class fixture of, get rid of the word custom, web application factory. We need that, yep. And it's trying to hit startup, so let's give it a reference to sample web. And control dot our way to victory. But I already told you yes. Yes, do that. Now, control dot for startup. Oh, it magically did it already. No way. No, it didn't. It did. Alright, I'm impressed. Control dot that. This needs to match this. Alright, so that should be fine. So async task. Let's get all our using statements set up. And returns what? Bad request given no postal code. Right? So we're going to be doing a post, aren't we? I think it's actually a get. So get with this model. How's that going to work? I should probably do a post. Let's make it a post. So we're going to do a post to /weather forecast. Alright, so it's not API, it's just /weather forecast. Like that. Post async. Okay. var data to post equal. Let's go back to clean architecture and steal my post code if I have some. I hope I have some. I may not have some. Nope, I don't have some. Let's go to eShop on web. I think I have it there. Those of you that maybe haven't seen this Octotree plugin, this is a Chrome feature, Chrome extension, Octotree. It gives you a tree view, like a Solution Explorer view of any GitHub repo. It's really nice. So here I know I have more tests. I have controllers, I have an API controller. I'm not sure this has any posts though either. Get. Where do I do a post? Catalog? Order? Reorder. Order does a get. Nope. There's our post right there. Alright, so we create some key values with whatever we want to pass in, and we do this form content thing. So this right there, that's the code I want to steal. And so we'll put that right here. Key values, we're going to add what? What did I say we wanted? In my DTOs, source, no, that's in my sample. In my sample, core, DTOs, postal code. I want a postal code. So in this test, I want to say postal code is nothing. Given no postal code. Get rid of that. Form content equals new boop response. Right. Okay, so we need some more namespaces for the key value pair and list. That's all good. Post async. Doesn't like that. change it to put async. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I need to actually pass in the values. That's why. Post async, comma, form content. There's my form content. There's my string response. There's my JSON convert. I could probably use the new system text JSON stuff, right? I haven't tried that. Var result equal system text JSON dot deserialize. I don't know. I don't know how to use this thing. Skip that. I'm not actually going to do anything with any of it anyway because this is not really true. I'm expecting a bad request. So I don't want that. And I'm really just going to assert dot equal bad request. Deserializer is built in now. Yeah, it should be for 3.0. That's the theory anyway. Alright, so I don't remember what the bad request thing is, but that's okay. We're going to say that response dot status code, right? And the rest of this is all junk I don't need for now. HTTP status code, right? So HTTP status code dot bad request. Okay. Using system.net. System text JSON missing quite a few features though compared to NewtonSoft. Okay. Yeah, well, I gotta figure out how to do this line using system text JSON, or I just have to keep using NewtonSoft. Either way. But let's see if we're close to getting this test to run. No. There's that. Alright, so this is a functional test. It should hit my endpoint. It's actually running right now and it's failing. Let's see why. Run the test. And here we are. And it failed. Tell me why. Unsupported media type. Okie doke. Where do I need to set that? Unsupported media type. Do I have to set the... That's weird. Do I have to do that here somewhere? I could probably create the client options there and specify a header for the media type. Maybe I need to do that. Okay, so here's my options, here's my client. Let me do client.headers, default request headers dot add content. Is it content type or media type? I thought it was content type. Content type application JSON or text JSON, either way. It's not doing it. Misused header name. Make sure we're used with HTTP request message response headers. I don't usually run into this. Client post, so weather forecast, whatever the content is, form encoded content. I didn't like this. Client dot default request headers. I can just add to headers, can't I? No. Unsupported media type. Oh, right. Okay, so I know what the issue is. So I've just Stack Overflowed this, and it says, hey, for forms, use this instead of from body. I'm not using anything, right? That's my problem. I didn't tell it where to get it from. So I need to tell it to use from body, and it'll be good. So Stack Overflow to the rescue. This needs to be from body, because I'm stuffing it into the body of the post. And this should be a better name than that. This should be get, I don't know, get forecast, I guess. Still not a great name, but we'll go with that. Alright. Replace this. I don't care. Go away. Alright, so now it should have done something for us. Something's being locked by another file. Well, let's stop this. There we go. Live unit testing was messing us up. Alright, so I shouldn't need that. And let's actually just manually run the test. Bad request, unsupported media type. Alright, let's put this back. That was incredibly slow. Could not copy. What is holding on to that? Alright, live testing is cool when it works, but stay off. Why are you running? I told you to stop. Stay. Don't start again. Oh, that's what did it. Sorry, I didn't mean to do live unit testing there. Let's get out of there. I meant to do that. I'm the one that started it because I'm not paying attention. Alright, so now what are we going to get? Build errors. That's what we're going to get. Could not copy, unable to copy. Alright, come on. Build, rebuild. Something is still locked. Let's kill Visual Studio. And in here, let's do a .NET test. Let's do all the things. Hey, I heard a noise. That means somebody, Pacific Ghost, just followed. Thank you. Alright, those passed and still being used by another process. What is using that process? Ardalis sample core DLL. Alright, I swear there's nothing using it. What do I do now? I killed Visual Studio. I don't know what's using it. Could not copy netcore sample DLL to sample web DLL exceeded retry count. Okay. Well, what do I do? I don't know if it's live unit testing that's still holding on to it, or what. I can use FileMon to check it out, or Procmon, sysinternals tools. I hate having to dig those out for this kind of thing, and I don't want to have to reboot because, you know, that's kind of overkill. Let's see, let's rename this while we're here. At least do that. Let's save and build and cross our fingers. Maybe whatever it is decided to let go. Oh no, of course not. Could not copy this file. core DLL is being used. Alright, so here's my web project. And let me delete them. Alright, gonna copy bin debug net core. Process cannot access that one. Files locked by .NET Core host 28148. That's helpful. That is very helpful. 28148, you say? That's great, because that process does not exist. Oh, there it is. .NET exe. I totally do not have that .NET exe running anywhere. But let's just nuke it. Visual Studio must have spun it up and then left it hanging. Flam IS Express is not running. I'm not using that at all. Well, that's not true. Maybe I am. That'd be a good thing to check. But no, that is my web project. And it is not even using IS. Anyway, I think I just fixed it. I killed that thing. Poof. Killed it with extreme prejudice. So now we can run this test and actually see what the error is. Right? Misused header name. Okay. That's because I made that desperate attempt to change the header name here. I don't think I needed that. So this is just supposed to work now. Aha. Well, no, not aha. Same thing. Unsupported media type. Response post to that endpoint with my form content, which is form URL encoded. It shouldn't be form URL encoded, that's why. Because I'm telling it it's JSON. So the form content should be JSON encoded. So it's my fault for trying to copy paste code. This is looking for a form post. I'm looking for an API post. Functional test, ASP.NET Core, JSON post. Creating that. Let's see here. I've done this so many times, but I hate trying to come up with the code on my own. But sometimes copy pasting code doesn't work out for you. Body, request, post, get string content, request.body, content helper. There we go. Alright, so I need this, instead of being form content, I need something like, serialize my object. Let's see, I can actually start with the object that I'm going to use. So var request DTO equal new forecast request DTO, which I don't have access to. Like that. And then I just need to add a reference. Reference to core. And then generate, no, that. Okay, I don't need the key value pairs or the form content because it's not a form. It needs to be JSON content, which we're going to say is right here, var JSON content equals new string content. That's supposed to be a type, it is a type, it knows. Alright, good. and then JSON convert dot serialize object request DTO comma encoding dot default. Spell that right. Good. Now we're getting there. Alright, so there's all that. Run the test. We should be close. Just serialize it and add a string content. Well, where were you 5 minutes ago, Coding Gorilla? Come on. That's what we're doing. Alright, so that worked. I don't need any of this junk anymore. Alright, so now this is not using my result type at all. This is just using standard vanilla API controller-based model validation. But what if it's not found? What if you give it a postal code that just doesn't exist? So let's do, I want to keep that code just in case I need it. I don't know if there's a postal code. Well, sure, how about this? Returns not found given non-existent postal code. Postal code of, let's say, not found. Right, and here we're going to say this expects not found. And let's run this. And it's probably going to be an OK. Come on. I said run the test, didn't I? Return not found. Expected not found. It got OK. Alright. Now we're ready to go start doing some stuff that uses my thing. So we got a weather service, and in here we can say, well, if model dot postal code dot equals not found, return, I don't know, let's say null for now. Right? We can go back into our controller, and we can say our result equals weather service dot get forecast of the model, and if result equals null, return not found, like that, and that might run our test. You said that 5 minutes ago. Okay, Coding Gorilla, you win. Sorry, dude. I can't watch the chat all the time. Alright. Run that. That should have passed. Still fails. Line 44. Line 44. Cert equal. Not found. Status code. Postal code is not found. We're going to post that there. Serialized it. From bodies, model, result is get that with that model. If result is null, okay. Go to implementation on this. If it's not found, return null. I don't see where the problem is, but let's step through it, I guess. So where's my weather controller? Breakpoint. Test. Right click. Debug. Debugging is kind of a last resort. Alright, so my model is right here. And not found. Ooh, look at that, no space. There we go, done. Easy. Let's go back over here. Let's just get rid of that space right there. And let's run this again. Boom. Okay, so now let's refactor it to use our result type. So we're going to come back in here, and instead of this just returning one of these, we're going to have it return a result of that. Right? And now this can say, now instead of that, return result dot not found. Why do I have to specify the type every time? That's annoying. Somebody tell me how to make it so I don't have to specify the type every time I do this. I'm sure there's a way. Return result of whatever dot not found. Alright, now return result of that dot what? Value? What did I call it? Result.success? Or did I have to new it up? I think I have to new it up in that case, didn't I? That was the only one I didn't use a factory for. Maybe I should use a refactory for everything to be consistent. Return new result with this in it. There we go. Build that. Other things are going to blow up. Or they're not. Here's our controller. And it's going to get this result. And if result is null, we're going to return not found. That's going to break, right? Boom. Okay, so now we want to say, get rid of this breakpoint. If result.status equal ResultStatus.notFound, return not found. Otherwise, return OK. I don't want to call that again. I want to say result.value. Like that. Alright, so let's run that. Okay. Now it would be nice if in here, if we didn't have to have an if check on every one of these to see what it is and then return a different thing, right? Let's demonstrate that by putting in another issue. Much as I would like to pull in fluent validation, I don't think I really need to just for this sample. So we can come back to where? Back to my service in the sample. Here. Alright, so if that's not found, we're going to say not found, but let's say if it's out of some range, like if it's more than 10 characters, we're going to make it a validation issue. So validate model if model.postalcode.length is greater than 10. Return result of IEnumerable of weather forecast dot invalid postal code cannot exceed 10 characters. Right? So to test that, I'll come back to my functional test and copy this thing. And now that I've copied it so many times, I really don't need these things I was leaving there for reference. I haven't used them yet, but at some point I will, I predict. Alright, so now let's come in here and returns bad request given postal code too long. Postal code is there we go, 11 characters. And that's all the same. We don't need that. Status code is invalid. No, bad request. There we go. And then I should be able to get to the response on that as well, right? So I should be able to say, because the response is going to be JSON with the string with a model error. So assert.equal, grab the thing off the service, that. I should probably rename that, huh? There, postal code. That's what I expect. And then it is response dot. Now is where I need to read it as a string. String response. And this is what, an enumerable of string, maybe? I don't know. We'll just do that. I know it's not going to work, but I'll fix it. Alright, so the first issue is that this is not actually going to return a bad request. So when we run this set of tests, it gives me no content, which is not what I want. So let's go to our controller, which I keep losing. There it is. And we're going to say if result.status equals ResultStatus dot invalid, return bad request with model state dictionary. New model state dictionary with, that's interesting. Returned. Okay, fine. We're going to have to do some work here. This is where we're going to get some value out of this package once it's done. Return bad request with error dictionary. What if we did, I've already got the model state here, right? Bad request with the model state, like that, right? And then all I'd have to do is say model state dot errors dot add model error, right? Ooh, I don't have a key. Well, I guess we'll hard code it. I need to for each over my list of errors too, don't I? And I really don't need that. I don't know that key. I may need to do a different interface, but let's do this for this. Error in result.errors, like that. We're going to do an add model error, and we'll just say it's the DTO model error. So it's not going to tell us exactly what is wrong, but it'll at least compile and give us a result, right? Okay. Let's run that test again. And there we go. So expected this, got this model, right? So I need that to be a dynamic JSON deserialized thing. You're not going to let me see the whole thing. Result equal this to that. Deserialize. What are our options? Dot deserialize anonymous type. Type object. I really want you to be a dynamic though. Can I do that? Dynamic equals that. Right? And then I don't know how that moved. So I know why. There we go. Result dot model. What was our thing? We had a model property with an array of strings, right? Result dot model sub 0 should be it. So let's run that test. And what do we get now? Cannot perform something. Doesn't like doing that dynamic. Alright, I know I've done that before too. Where's my code for that? I need to put more sample code into clean architecture, so I've got all the code I need to steal in one place. So maybe I'll put an API in the clean architecture that does some posts, just so I have sample code. Dynamic deserialize. Where have I done that before? Was it eShop? Oh, I know where it was. Boom. Let's see, github.com, like Ardalis, whack. It's the getting started with filters. That's where I do all these. Because of course you would expect it to be filters that I would be looking for. But this is where I did extensive CRUD API testing, and it's right here, and it's right there, and it's do a post, and here we go, return bad request. If the thing is too long, it's going to look like that, and oh, I just do a contains. That's smart of me. So let's do that. We don't bother trying to deserialize it into anything. Alright, fine. So in this case, we skip that junk. Assert dot contains that. Assert what contains? The thing. Alright. String response. Cool. Now run all your tests. You guys are being awfully quiet. Nobody said anything in like 17 minutes. Alright, so that worked. Okay, so the point of this, let's rename this guy too. This is not an API to do items controller list. This is a weather forecast controller post, I think. Copy that, paste to there, paste to there. No. Alright, and the point of all this is eventually now to take this work that we're doing in here and even in here and pull that out into a helper so that we never have to do that ever again inside of a controller, and then refactor this so we don't need to do it here. Or maybe not refactor, maybe leave this so my existing tests still work, but have a side-by-side sample that uses a filter or something. Alright, so I think my validation errors might need to be a different thing than my errors list. Maybe that makes sense. So let's come back to result for a minute and think about a couple things. First, I think it's nice to be able to create a result from an object in its constructor, but I think I might also want a helper. So let's do that. Let's come in here and create another version of this. We'll put it up here at the top. And let's create one with, those are all new. There's our first helper. So let's create a helper or a factory here. Initializes value using factory method. So var result equals, what test framework is that? This is XUnit. Vicherd, I'm not sure how to say your name. Vicherd, I'm sure that's wrong. Alright, so this will be dot vshard. Thank you. Alright, got it. So what should this be? This should be result dot success with what? Some value. Okay, result status, and factory method, and sets status to OK. There we go, and this will take in object value, and this will take right here, value, and then this will be assert value is equal to result dot value, and now all that's left is to go create that thing. So result here can have a new success with a value, no, t value, turn new result of OK, which is the default, so I don't really need that. I just need that, right? That's all I'm doing. Alright, is that going to work? It does. Alright, cool. So now I can do that success option, which is what I wanted. All my test passes, this is a good opportunity for me to commit some code because I've been going for a while. So get status, lots of stuff here. Get add dot, get commit dash n, sample with tests, and added success factory method. Get push. Okay. How much time we got left? We're running out of time for today, so I'm probably not going to get this thing published as a NuGet package. But the goal, just so you're all aware, is that next time I get a chance to work on this, I'm going to pull this code here out into a filter or something, and I want to be able to just say return result.value, and it'll translate it into an action result in the filter. So we'll see how that works. It'll either be a filter or it'll be a helper. It might just be a helper, right? So it might be, what would it look like? Something like to do, write a filter or helper so we can make this one line of code. Either return whether service.get forecast model and use filter, or return what would I call it? Get action result of whether service.get forecast of model, like that, using a helper. There we go. So that'll be coming. In the meantime, I want to fix this so that we actually get the correct, whatever this is called. What is that called? Key. So to do, include the key in the validation errors of the result. So that's a pretty common thing. So let's go back to result constructor, where we do validation, set invalid, name is required, blah blah blah. And this should probably be a dictionary. of string, right? And then this can be new key value pair of name. Does that work? Can I add a key value pair to a dictionary? Maybe? I don't remember. I don't use dictionaries that often. It's not looking good. New dictionary, string, let's just add them. There's that add. What can I add? Add. Telecode, string item. Oh, that's right, because this should be a var. Now what? You do it like key value. Coding Gorilla. Bang help. Alright, thank you. What is bang help supposed to do? If I had that set up, what would it do for you? Apparently I don't have it set up. I was asking you about for help. Okay, good. Making sure that was what it was. I was thinking, is there a command people have that like notifies me that you're trying to help? That would be cool. Alright, so you're saying that the thing I literally just... Oh, I know what I didn't do. I didn't wrap it in the extra curlies. So you're saying it should be that, right? Maybe? You're saying this should work. Key, comma, value. Key, comma, value. In curlies. I think you're leading me astray, Coding Gorilla. Gonna Google for it. Alright, C# initialize dictionary string collection of selection dictionary of income string. That looks exactly like what I'm doing. Why is this not working? I believe you now, Coding Gorilla. Take back all the mean things I said, but it's not working. Right? This says int student name, int comma new student name, chunk. That looks exactly like what I have right here. Right, now I know that's not going to work. So leave that out of it. But why is this all red? Expected a semicolon. Oh shoot. That shouldn't be there. My fault. There we go. Alright, cool. Now, validation errors comes in. Yeah, cool. Alright, so now this, we just need to go make this type. Copy that. Go to there. Make it that. That can't be params anymore. Alright, and I think I need a new type for validation errors. I think that's a different thing. Can I make it a read-only dictionary? I don't want people to be able to mess with it. I guess it's not the end of the world for now if we just make it the same type. Alright, don't need to ever set it. It goes new dictionary like that. Invalid. Okay, fine, we'll have a setter. Just to make it easier. There's a semicolon fishing div Bricky, you guys both got it. You all got it. I don't know why it takes so long for the chat. There must be a delay on the video. That's what it has to be. There must be a significant delay between when I'm doing stuff and when you guys are chatting. Alright, where's my error list? Alright, we're about out of time. I think we'll see if this works and call it a day. I'm going to have to fix a test, I think. Maybe a couple of them. Argument item has already been added. Oh, well, no, that should totally be allowed. Model validation errors don't care if the same key is in there more than once, do they? They allow it. So the model state dictionary lets me add multiple things. How would that work? Well, for now, I'm going to just go and say postal code, like that, and then that. And we're going to put in a to-do. For that. And then let's see if that fixes my test. It does. Alright, so then what we got here? We got return bad request, postal code cannot exceed in there. Okay. Why? Yeah, let's go to the controller. And now this is going to be in validation errors. And instead of that being that, it's going to be error.key and error.value. And we should still be good. And that can go away. Let's run all the tests. Everything's green. Let's do one more commit, and then let's see who we want to raid today. Give me any recommendations for people that are online that you want to raid. Git add dot, git commit -m, refactoring to use validation error dictionary. And let's go find my Twitch stream. Go over here. Might have to be Clarkio. Let's see who else is on. Twitch.tv/team/livecoders. Here's my live coder friends. Lena Lux, Nick Larson. What's Nick Larson doing? Blazer at. Alright, that sounds good. What's Clarkio doing? Chat stuff. Well, let's go hit up Nick Larson. Let's see. I want to hop in there before I actually do the raid. So let's go Nick Larson, who's working on Blazor. And get past the stupid ad. I mean the beautiful ad that supports all of us Twitch people. Alright, now Nick Larson. Boom. Alright, thanks everybody. Have a good weekend. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm probably not going to be on next Friday because it's a holiday here in the US. So I'll probably see you in 2 weeks unless I decide to stream in the meantime. So see you later. Do it. Huh. What's happening? It's saying it failed. Start the raid. Something went wrong. No. Why? Or not. Why won't it let me raid? Hey, Fishing Dev. I'll see you later. It's weird. Wade. Nick. Larson. Boom. Start raid. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's not working. Well, I'm gonna stop streaming. So I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, I know why. Let's try one more time. There we go. Boom. Maybe. It's being weird. 2 viewers, 13 viewers, 2 viewers, 13 viewers. Hey, there we go. Boom. It seems like that worked. Alright. Catch you later.